Yo, welcome back to the show. It's your boy Kenny bringing you guys another installment in our long form podcast, the Fandom Frequency Show. This is episode 15. We got some dope topics to get into, as you guys can tell from the thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? Miss Marvel, Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got some other great topics to get into in the world of pop culture. But before we do that, if you're watching this episode today, guys, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. It helps the show out immensely, and it helps grow the community so you get a lot more dope content in your feed consistently without having to seek us out. And isn't it nice having that convenience, guys? That's what it's all about these days, convenience. So make sure you take care of that. If you're listening on the podcast feed, much love to you over there. Make sure you download the episode and share it, and also follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. That helps a lot as well. But with no further ado, we're going to roll right into the show, guys. And just a little bit of catch up with what I've been doing lately, other than the 9 to 5 stuff, you know what I'm saying? I actually went to the horror convention, Monsterpalooza, over the past weekend. I'm going to have a vlog up within a week of you guys watching/listening to this episode right now. So by the time you listen to this, you should be seeing that vlog within about a week's time, max, of me going to Monsterpalooza down there in Pasadena. And I actually got to meet two of my favorite performers of all time, Matthew Lillard and Sharni Vinson from Your Next in Step Up fame, for those of you that don't know her. And I just had a great time. I've been there. This is my third time going, I believe. And I always have a great time every year I go. And it's such a blast, and I have such a great time every time. So really great stuff. And if you're a horror fan, a sci-fi fan, I definitely recommend you go check it out. But especially if you're a horror fan, you definitely got to go check this thing out. Monsterpalooza. I think they have a spin-off one, like another convention going down in October, I believe. Son of Monsterpalooza, I believe is what it's called. So make sure you look into that. I'm going to be looking into that as well. And yeah, man, so let's get into what's the word? All the pop culture topics of the show today, guys. And we got a couple spicy ones, you know what I'm saying? Don't have a whole bunch today, but we do got some spicy ones for sure. And we're going to roll right into one of the most important ones to me out there in the world of pop culture. Scream 6 update, you know what I'm saying? Breaking news, all that good stuff, catching you up on everything in the world of Scream 6. So we know it's coming out in March of 2023. Let me get the exact date here real quick. Let's see here. Scream 6. There we go. Yep. March 31st. That's what I thought. So March 31st, 2023, we're going to get Scream 6. And when it comes to the latest updates, none other than Kirby Reed, a.k.a. Hayden Panettiere, is back, bro. Kirby is back in the Scream franchise, in the flesh. We saw the little Easter egg in Scream 5 of the suggested videos on the YouTube page when Richie was watching the Stab podcast or whatever he was watching, YouTube channel, whatever. And you saw that on the suggested videos, Kirby survives Ghostface attack or whatever the case is from like several years ago. So Kirby's out there. She's in the mix. She's going to be in this latest film. And I, for one, am very excited to see her back. She was, bar none, my favorite new character in Scream 4, and one of my favorite side characters and newer characters introduced since kind of the original trilogy, if you will, from 96 to 2001 with Scream 1 through 3. So I really enjoy that casting right there and can't wait to see what they do with her. It could just be a cameo. It could be a starring role. Could be a supporting role. I would think it's somewhere between supporting and starring, being one of the main cast members due to the fact that they announced it so upfront, off top in the beginning of the thing. So I think that's the way it's going to go down. And overall, I'm very hyped to see her, man. I want to know what you guys think about that in the comments below as well, man. But we also got some other casting news. Dermot Mulroney I believe is his name. Let me make sure. I think it's Dermot Maloney. I think. But yeah, Dermot Maloney. Let me see. Yeah, no, Dermot Mulroney. There you go. Dermot Mulroney is going to be a cop apparently in Scream 6, and he's been in some pretty big projects as well, like Shameless and other things like that. That's where I've seen him actually, so it's going to be cool to see him there. And I don't know if it's going to be a big role, a small role. I'm not sure, but he's definitely a very, very good actor. So it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the overall film and just the Scream franchise overall and what kind of impact he's going to make as a character. And yeah, but overall, man, time to get into the biggest topic of the Scream 6 update. Not sure exactly where they're at with it at this moment, but as of right now, officially, Nev Campbell is not returning to play Sydney once again in this latest installment. She actually put out a official statement that I have here to make sure that I have it quoted correctly. And it says here, as a woman, I have had to work extremely hard in my career to establish my value, especially when it comes to Scream. Now that I find very interesting. The actress says about her turn in the $744 million grossing uh, global franchise. I felt the offer that was presented to me did not equate to the value I have brought to the franchise. It has been very difficult to sit it oh my gosh, I'm botching this. It's been a very difficult decision to move on. To all my Scream fans, I love you. You always been so incredibly and supportive to me. I'm forever grateful to you and to what this franchise has given me over the past 25 years. Let me see. Is there anything else she says? Yeah, man. But like you said, and like we heard off top right there, as a woman, I have had to work extremely hard in my career to establish my value, especially when it comes to Scream. That statement right there is very telling and very interesting. Now, immediately, what I thought of when I saw that part was maybe she's referencing the latest film we just had, Scream 5, when she was negotiating to appear before with Radio Silence and Paramount and the team over there working on it now. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. And I do understand both sides of it. I know some of the fans out there are really upset and shit, but everyone needs to pump the brakes, chill out, and wait and see what happens, because I actually heard today, as a rumor, like I said, just a rumor, but I heard today that they actually delayed filming so they could actually renegotiate with her in order to get her in the film, because they really want her in the film and have something for her that they really want her to do. So we'll wait. We got to wait and see how this all pans out. But some fans are getting way too critical and way too upset online. Y'all need to chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Nev Campbell doesn't owe anything to us as the fans. She doesn't owe anything to anyone working on the film. She has done plenty of time in this franchise. She has, helped, been a part of why it becomes so successful in the first place. She isn't the main reason, but she's one of the reasons, and she's put in a lot of time. She has put in more than enough in her of herself into this franchise, and has always shown love to the community and to the fans. So for me personally, I'm not tripping on it. Whether she comes back or if she doesn't, I would love to see her. I'm fine if they don't include her, but I hope it all works out for the best and for the best version of Scream 6 that we can get. And you know what I'm saying? I understand both sides of it, because if she isn't getting the paycheck she feels that she deserves, as long as it isn't astronomical or really unreasonable, hey man, I support it. I understand it. None of y'all want to work for a paycheck that's bullshit, right? I know I sure as hell don't. So we definitely got to keep it real in that regard. And we definitely got to keep that in mind, that these actors are doing a job. It is a job. They love it. They want to do things for the fans, but they don't owe us anything. It is a working job for them. It's just a cool job that they're passionate about. It is a dream of theirs, but it is work. It is a job. It is a career. So they got to keep those things in check and make sure that they can support themselves, their families, all that good jazz. So, like I said, we don't know enough details to really judge it one way or the other to, um, you know, definitively or not. So for like I said, for now, man, we just gotta wait and see what happens. But as of today, the recording of this video, and probably by the time you guys see this episode, Nev Campbell is not gonna be in Scream 6 as of now. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that all pans out. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you think Sydney needs to come back for Scream 6? Do you think Sydney Prescott is extremely essential to the franchise and for a Scream film, or do you think that whether she comes back or not, we could still get a dope Scream film? That's kind of the camp that I'm in, but I'd love to hear where you guys are at in that conversation, and we're gonna keep on rolling here, man. And today, they just dropped the Black Adam trailer, The Rock's highly anticipated, long in the works comic book film, man, superhero flick, whatever you want to call it, is finally going to drop on October 21st this year, 2022, man. And they just dropped the first official trailer after that little teaser they dropped with the the World Needs Heroes DC promo thing they did, where they dropped little teasers for all the movies they have slated to come out here soon. And yeah, man, I really dug this trailer overall. It didn't blow me away or anything like that, if I'm being honest, but I really dug the trailer overall. And I gotta say, I really like the visuals. I really love the way that The Rock is playing this character. The physicality he's bringing to it is definitely in the vein of what I thought he was gonna do. So definitely love all that I'm seeing there. I like the way the action shot, you know what I'm saying? I like the straight up comic book accurate Hawkman costume and him coming through with the ship in the opening shot of the trailer. I love that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a huge Hawkman fan or anything like that, but I always kind of dug the character from my Justice League Unlimited days, Saturday morning cartoons back in the day, you know what I'm saying? But so I love seeing that, the Atom, Dr. Fate, all that stuff getting to come to life in live action. Not sure what the whole story and what the villain threat is going to be definitively yet in this film. But the one thing that they're kind of teasing that I'm not exactly sure where I fall on it right now, but it all kind of depends on the execution and how they do it, is the fact that they're kind of playing him as like, are you going to be a hero or a villain? Is he an anti-hero? Is he somewhere in between? Because he has that one confrontation with Hawkman where Hawkman's like, heroes don't kill people. And then fucking Black Adam's looking at him straight up and goes, well, I do. And then, he's been doing his thing, electrocuting the fuck out of people and doing it, and, being Black Adam. So I hope they really let The Rock as Black Adam really embrace that character and let him be the villain that he kind of is and let him stay in that lane, you know what I'm saying? I don't want him to see him become a full-on hero or anything like that. To me, that trope has been overdone. I want to see DC get more ballsy. I want to see everyone just take more chances and make a true supervillain movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see that for once, other than just Joker. Like, let's actually see that for once. I really love to see that. So, overall, I dug the trailer, though. Like, I like the visuals. I like the way they're setting up Black Adam as a character for the most part. I dug his whole attitude and the physicality that The Rock is bringing to the role, a.k.a. Dwayne Johnson, of course. And you got, can't forget to mention Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, which that was a hell of a surprise when they announced that casting. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like a huge Pierce Brosnan fan, but I enjoy some of his work and remember seeing him in fucking Die Another Day and, Goldfinger and stuff. Not Goldfinger, sorry. God damn. Oh my gosh. GoldenEye. There you go. Jeez Louise. Goldfinger. Jeez Louise. But yeah, GoldenEye and all that stuff back in the day. So it's really cool getting to see him step into the DC universe. Definitely like an elder statesman, like a more, classic actor. It's really cool to get to see him come into this film and get in the mix with someone like The Rock is going to be very interesting. And I am so happy for my man Aldous Hodge getting to play Hawkman. That is just spectacular news to me. I am so thrilled about that, and I can't wait to see what he is going to bring to that. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see it. And overall, the film looks pretty cool, man. Like, I'm still definitely very eager to see it. I'm still pretty excited to see it. Not like my most anticipated movie of the rest of the year, but it's still up there as something I'm definitely going to make a priority to go see. But I would love to hear what y'all think about the trailer down below in the comments, man. I'd love to get into a discussion about that as well. So make sure to let me know what you guys thought about that. Dug the trailer overall. You know what I'm saying? Pretty damn good first look at the film and getting an idea for the vibe of the movie. So dug that overall. Can't wait to see how that's going to pan out. And yeah, so moving right along here, we're going to be getting into the two main topics of the show, man. And we're going to start off with Miss Marvel, the premiere of Disney Plus slash Marvel's latest series, Miss Marvel, which follows Kamala Khan, a young 16 or 17-year-old girl that, is a big fan of Captain Marvel, obviously, and she's a big fan of the Avengers and just superheroes and all that kind of jazz in general, and she wants to go to this Avengers con with her best friend, Bruno, and she wants to go do that, but due to her upbringing with her family and the Muslim upbringing and background and things like that, her parents are very conservative and strict on where she goes and where she spends her free time outside of school and whatnot, even though they really love her little friend Bruno and all that good jazz. And it's really just truly and honestly and through a coming of age story, like a very teen comedy, Scott Pilgrim kind of vibe to it throughout the whole thing, man. And I gotta say, I wasn't really sure about this series when I first saw the trailers for it, I wasn't really sure if this was really going to be for me. It felt a little out of my demographic, which I guess it is, you know what I'm saying? But overall, it just kind of felt, I was glad that the MCU is doing something different and getting to a new audience, but overall, I just wasn't really as excited for it because I wasn't really sure if it was for me. But overall, I gotta say, after seeing the premiere episode of this series, I'm fucking digging it. I really am enjoying this series overall and have very few complaints with it, man. Like, I really dug the vibe of this overall. Mention how I had that Scott Pilgrim reference earlier. You really get a lot of that unique, like, visuals and animations and different styles and tones coming together, like Scott Pilgrim and other movies like Into the Spider-Verse and stuff like that. And you even get a little bit of a Spider-Man Homecoming vibe from the high school kind of coming of age whole thing that's going through this show and the whole kind of basis of this series and the big backbone of what this show is really about, first and foremost. Before the superhero stuff, before the action stuff, is really Kamala Khan as a character and her journey as a young woman and trying to find herself out there and trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. And, she's always daydreaming and always, fantasizing about cooler and better things and getting out of the city and doing something cool and different with her life, but doesn't necessarily have a clear idea of what that is. So I really enjoy that whole vibe with her, and I really love the actress Iman Vellani, I believe is her name, that is playing Kamala Khan. She is so likable and enjoyable to watch, and just so like charming and feels so like real. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't feel like she's playing a character. She just really feels like a young girl that you would meet out there somewhere that's just bubbly and has that kind of zany, imaginative, kind of almost ADHD type energy. You know what I'm saying? She's just very hyper in a sense and gets distracted very easily. You know what I'm saying? So I just really like Kamala Khan as a character overall and really dug her throughout this premiere, man, and really can't wait to see where her journey goes throughout the rest of this series. And overall, when it comes to the rest of the characters, like her best friend Bruno and her family, most importantly, I really love all the performances in these characters. They all feel very lived in and very three-dimensional for the most part, you know what I'm saying? And with the Muslim background of Kamala Khan as a character, I like how it's not like the central focus of the series, but it is something that is a part of their lives. It is a part of their culture and a part of their values and how they raise their kids and how they do things in their household and things like that. So I like how it does play a factor into this, but they're very much portrayed as just another family here in our country, with the rest of us, you know what I'm saying, going through the same things that we do, having a very similar dynamic like the rest of us have with our families, you know what I'm saying? So I really dug the whole family and her friend and all that kind of stuff, and the way that comes through in this series and the introduction of those characters I thought was very strong, really strong performances as well all around. I thought the actors did a great job in that department, really good job there. And overall, man, I just had a really good time with this, and I love the unique energy and the way that they're, using the camera and the direction style there, the editing style, and just the pacing of it. You know what I'm saying? You're never bored. You're always interested to see what she's going to get into next. And the way that they kind of introduce you into the superpowers and all that kind of side of things with the bracelet that she found, that her mother had all these old trinkets or whatever from her grandmother, from her mom's mom or grandmother, is very interesting to see what the origins of that are going to be, because I have no clue if that's based in the Marvel comic lore or any of that at all. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out and how the introduction of that really comes forward in this series. But overall, I really like the introduction of it so far, and the way that it comes together with her just adding a piece to her Captain Marvel cosplay that she's trying to wear to the Avengers Con to win the costume contest and all that. And I love that kind of meta element to it as well, with the cons and the costume contests and the cosplay, because we do that obviously in our real life, and we would do the same thing there, especially with or without the superheroes, and we do that here, so we definitely do that if we had real life superheroes. So I really love the way that that element plays in the show and as well, and was just a little fun, just a little fun kind of detail that they added in there. And overall, man, I gotta say that the what was I gonna say? The few negatives that I guess I could kind of point out with it so far would have to be that I don't really see what the central, like, not villain per se, but what the conflict or what the story is going to be, other than it being an origin story. So I'm kind of wondering where that's going to pan out. We do see that post credit scene with the, I think those are the agents from Damage Control or something like that, that are going to bring her in or whatever. But not really sure where that's going to go yet. But I guess that's kind of some of the setup and them setting the table and setting the stage for that to go down here in episode 2. So, excuse me. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes throughout the rest of the series and through each of the episodes moving on here. But overall, man, I think this show is off to a very strong start, and I'm really digging this overall so far, and think it's off to a strong start. You got some really nice, strong, likable and very well-written characters here. I love the whole origin story aspect and the way that the superhero element plays into the kind of coming-of-age drama comedy element, and it all kind of seamlessly blends together in a way that I think is definitely really working for the most part here. And I think the humor really works as well. I think like 90% of the humor is really landing for me. I was cracking up quite a bit, actually laughing out loud throughout the show when I was watching the premiere the other nights, last night actually. So I had a good, or this morning, I mean. So I had a good time watching this premiere episode for sure. And one of my only other criticisms, I would say, or negatives you could say, or mixed elements, is the visual effects and kind of the way that they visualize her superpowers. I don't think looks the coolest, but it definitely seen worse looking things out there. You know what I'm saying? And definitely worst effects. But that's definitely kind of the weakest element of the whole show so far. So hopefully they kind of improve that and enhance that as the show goes on. And they, yeah. So overall, though, I'm really, really digging this series. And if you're a little bit on the younger side of things, or you just really enjoy, like coming of age, YA type stuff, you know what I'm saying? This is definitely up your alley. If you want something a little different and you're a diehard MCU fan, this might or might not be for you. You kind of have to know what you prefer in a certain sense, because one other thing that could be a mixed element for people is the fact that it's not very action focused so far in the show. And I believe that's kind of the way that things are going to go for the most part throughout this series. So that could be a turn off for some people. So I think that's something you definitely want to keep in mind, guys. So definitely make sure to keep that in mind for your personal taste and kind of your palate as a movie or fandom fan, just in the world of fandom, just what you prefer to watch in that way. And I do dig that overall, that is not just action heavy, but I do hope that we do get some cool action scenes and some decent action going on, at least sprinkled throughout the series would be nice, because Moon Knight kind of let me down in that regard, where we didn't get enough action in just Moon Knight on screen in general. So I hope that they kind of rectify that here with Miss Marvel a little bit, and we get just enough action to really establish her power set and her coming into her own a little bit as a superhero and as a character in this show and in this series with powers. So it's going to be really cool to see where this goes, but I'm really digging this show so far. I'm going to give the premiere episode, surprisingly, 8.5 out of 10, man. I'm really, really enjoying this, and I would love to hear what you guys think about it in the comments, like the rest of the topics in the show. But this one, I definitely want to talk to you guys about because I would really love to see what you think, see if you're on the same page as me. Do you differ? What do we see eye to eye and whatnot? So it's going to be very interesting to discuss all that good jazz, but make sure you guys leave those comments below, and make sure you guys tune into that Miss Marvel premiere. And we got 5 more episodes to go, and it's going to be very interesting to see where we go from here. But moving right along here, going into our main and last topic of the show is none other than Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes 3, or I should say episodes 3 and episodes 4. And when it comes to those episodes right there, man, didn't get time last week to really record that review for that. So we're going to be doing some of the episodes kind of grouped off 2 by 2 here for the rest of the series here. So going into episodes 3 and 4, with no further ado, I definitely preferred episode 3 more than episode 4 when it comes to the overall series so far. I cannot state or overstate how much I love the fucking confrontation with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is almost everything I could have wanted and more, but not quite. But it was still fucking awesome just seeing him go through the village, choking out people and interrogating people and trying to draw Obi-Wan Kenobi out because he knows he's not going to let him just wreck shop up in that village or whatever planet they were on. I can't remember the name of it right now, but man, just that whole introduction to Vader in episode 3 was just chef's kiss. So well done. Very, very awesome to see. And to get to see a little bit of Hayden Christensen in the back to tank all scarred up and whatnot. And then getting to hear the new repurposed James Earl Jones voice sounding like some straight up New Hope shit was fucking awesome. I love that to death. Can't get enough of that, and thought they did such a great job with the way that they put that effect or plug-in on his voice to really make it seem like he is much younger and back in that original trilogy vibe. And just the whole vibe of Darth Vader in this thing, in the introduction of him so far, and in the little bits he sprinkled into episode 4 as well, is so well done. Love everything they're doing with Vader right now. The only minor complaint I have with that is I don't get quite why Hayden Christensen came back quite yet because he hasn't really been on screen much. So, and if he's in the suit, it sort of defeats the purpose to me, other than the fact that for him, he's kind of actually got to be in the suit and really be Vader, suited up and all. But that's really just kind of a cool thing for him, not really necessarily a cool thing for us fans as much. So that's one thing that I would just point out as like kind of a mixed thing for me so far in this show. And when it comes to the Leia stuff, I do enjoy her introduction, and I love the actress, the young actress that's playing her. I think she's doing a phenomenal job, but I am getting a little tired of the Leia element in the series, if I'm being honest. I do think she's kind of overstayed her welcome and does start to present some questions and maybe possibly some contradictions and or plot holes into episode 4, because Vader and all the Empire seem very surprised that, or not surprised per se, but they don't seem aware of the fact that Leia is a traitor and working for the rebellion till the whole raid when he's trying to get the plans, but they narrowly escape with the plans that we got from, Jyn Erso, Cassian Andor, and the gang, and all that good jazz. So all that, the way that all plays out makes it seem like that they thought Leia was on their side and that her father and mother were on the side of the Empire and really in cahoots with them for real. But they find out that she's a traitor in New Hope and act like they didn't know that before. So she's running around with Inquisitors and Obi-Wan Kenobi, of all fucking people, 10 years ago or 9 years ago or whatever, however many years, 10 years before. That's fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? How do they not know she's a traitor at that point then? You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of one thing that did kind of have me raising my eyebrow a bit. But overall, not a huge concern, but just something that I did notice throughout the couple episodes here, and just thinking about Leia's involvement in the series overall. You know what I'm saying? But in general, I am still enjoying the series, but episode 3, with the way that they get picked up by that guy, Griff or whatever the hell his name was, and they get transported by him, but he ends up being a snitch, which I was like, oh, what a little bitch. He almost gets him caught up and whatnot until Obi-Wan gets him out of the situation, and then they run into this new character that they introduced in this series called Taula or Taylor, or I think it's Taylor, and she's introduced into this series, and I'm definitely digging her in both episodes 3 and 4, in the way that she's like a spy for the kind of Jedi, the Jedi's in hiding and people hiding, those type of people, and she's kind of infiltrated the Empire to kind of keep an eye on what they're actually doing and what the overall agenda really is, you know what I'm saying? So really dug that, because she did seem like a real Imperial at first, until she ends up blasting those stormtroopers, and you're like, oh shit, she's on our side, cool. So that whole way that came through when the transport's late and all that other stuff, and we find out why later when Reva has them all fucked up when she kidnaps Leia at the end of the episode. But before we get to that point, then we have them teaming up, and then we have all that good jazz and all that good stuff going down, and almost had a brain fart there. I'm kind of losing my place. Where was that? Episode 3. And then yeah, so not too much really goes down in episode 3, you know what I'm saying? A little bit light on plot comparatively, until we have the big confrontation with Vader, which, as I stated at the top of the episode, is fucking awesome, and I can't get enough of it. And just all the dialogue that Vader has in that sequence, man, is just so good. Like, I am what you made me. And he's all, I'm going to make you suffer. And I'm like, oh, man, dude, this guy is not fucking around. And then the whole introduction to him really earlier in the episode, towards the beginning, with him putting on the suit and talking to the third sister, a.k.a. I think her name's Reva. Reva? I'm going to go with Reva, and hopefully I'm correct. But he's all talking to her, saying that, oh, wow, I'm very impressed with you finding Obi-Wan Kenobi and all that stuff. Man, if you actually achieve this, you'll be by my side. You'll be the Grand Inquisitor. And she's like, ah, shit, I like that. And we still haven't dealt with his ass, the fucking Grand Inquisitor. Where the hell is he at? Now, I heard his species apparently has 2 stomachs, but no one explained this shit to me in the show. So I'm like, hey, what the hell's up with that? I shouldn't have to read Wikipedia to know that. Give me a break here. Come on, guys. Let's clean that up. But overall, not a big deal. Just something that did cross my mind, though. And then, like I said, the whole confrontation with Vader, with him lighting up the fire and burning the hell out of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and like, I'm gonna do to you what you did to me, fucker. And I'm just like, ooh, man, Vader ain't giving a fuck right here. And then you got Taylor coming in to save the day and sniping out some of those easy to kill stormtroopers as usual, and then Obi-Wan ends up getting away. And that was one thing that I did find a little interesting too. Like, why did Vader just let him get away? Couldn't he have tried to get him captured if he really wanted to? I do find that a little interesting, you know? So I'm not quite sure why that went down, but overall, episode 3 was pretty damn well done. Definitely enjoyed the hell out of that one. I'll probably give that one a good 8.75 out of 10. Almost a 9, you know what I'm saying? Vader really bumps it up quite a bit. I just think it does have a little bit of drag in the middle there before we really get to the dope shit towards the end with Vader and Taylor Taylor and all that good jazz. So overall, episode 3 is fucking awesome. And moving right into episode 4, which I will say I think is the most, or the weakest episode of the season so far. And not too much so, but it's still a solid episode of TV. Don't get me wrong, man, but it is a little lackluster in the fact that it almost feels a little bit like a filler episode in a certain aspect, because it doesn't really advance the plot forward too much, because you get a lot of the same stuff kind of repeating. Reva just, interrogating Leia over and over, asking her the same thing over and over. Tell us where the Jedis are. I'm not telling you anything. I don't know anything. Blah, blah, blah. And that just repeats like 2 to 3 times before they finally decide to torture her ass near the end of the episode, which I thought was a little weird. And when it comes to just the whole Leia stuff overall, I feel like it's getting, just like I said before, it's getting a little dragged out. I think it's starting to raise a lot of questions just with the continuity and the whole, in the canon of it all, so to speak. But overall, I am enjoying her performance. Just feel like I'm starting to raise some questions, so I think we do need to kind of transition her out of this series. But it does seem like she's in it for the long haul till the very end. So what are you going to do? It is what it is. But overall, not sure exactly where I'm at with that yet. Everything with Vader in this episode, which is very, very brief, is fucking awesome with him just storming into that room, choking the hell out of Reva, throwing her up in the air and choking her out almost at the same time. Like, I thought, what the hell's going on? You failed. And she's like, I put a tracker on a ship, dude. I know what I'm doing. And he's like, oh, shit. I might have underestimated your ass. Okay, I'll let you live today. And I was like, all right, now that's some Vader right there. That is true blue classic Vader. New, original trilogy mixed with the Vader Down comics and Rogue One type stuff put together in a perfect blend that totally feels authentic to what came before with Vader before the prequels and after the prequels. So you gotta love that. And overall, just the whole mission of Obi-Wan having to infiltrate the facility, New Hope style, was a little bit of a retread, but still fun to watch. Him getting into the facility and then Homegirl infiltrating the Inquisitorium or some shit. I believe it's called the Inquisitorium, which to me is a little bit of a goofy name for the fortress. But anyway, moving on. And then we got her going in there, faking her way in to give Obi-Wan an extra set of eyes while he goes in to save Leia, which he eventually does. And then we truly get Obi-Wan Kenobi back in full General Kenobi action, and it is awesome, man. Like, his skills are definitely kicking in and his instincts are definitely showing up, and I loved all of that and loved this slow progression of Obi-Wan starting to embrace the Force again and using his powers and coming into his own, because he was known as one of the most skilled and powerful Jedi in the Jedi as an entity, or just the what would you call it, the Jedi Council, whatever. Just the Jedi itself, he was one of the most prolific of them. So it is cool getting to see Obi-Wan go back into full General Kenobi mode and kind of get back in there and slowly build his way back into that in a very organic way that does really pace itself well throughout this series, and I think is one of the stronger elements and things I enjoy about this series so far. They are developing Obi-Wan in a really cool way, and I think everything with him has been really dope to watch. Makes a lot of sense, and everything just moves along at a really good pace to where you don't spend too much time in one particular aspect of his arc and of his story. It moves along. He has some cool fight scenes, hand-to-hand combat, blasters, lightsabers. You get a lot of good variety here, and you get some good variety mixed in here with the lightsaber in episode 4 especially. He does get his ass kicked by Vader in episode 3, but he does make up for it here, and it does make sense because Vader's in his prime, and Kenobi hadn't even fucking opened or turned on a lightsaber in like a decade. So it had been a minute. Homie was a little ring rust, but he's getting back into action, and that rematch is coming between these next 2 episodes. So I cannot wait to see that, man. But overall, episode 4 is a little bit meh, but overall, it's still pretty damn enjoyable. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. It's still a solid episode, but I do think it was a little lacking in urgency and a more compelling plot, and could have been a little longer to let the story marinate a little bit, like with the introduction of O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character. I thought could have been fleshed out a little more in his disagreements with Obi-Wan due to the backstory and what happened with the dude and his wife and whatnot. So I thought they could have spent just a few more minutes on that just to kind of flesh that out enough to where it makes more sense to why he changed his mind. They don't just breeze past that because it's a very short runtime they're trying to meet or whatever in the episode. So that was one of my other few minor complaints of it. It just felt a little short and a little rushed compared to the other previous 3 episodes, but still enjoyed it, still digging the series overall, and depending where episodes 5 and 6 can go, it can really land in a really dope, strong way and be one of the best series and one of the best things done in Star Wars in a long time, or it could be somewhere in the middle, or it could be a bit of a disappointment, I will be honest. So let's hope they kind of bounce back into the quality of episodes 1 and 3 and really nail these next 2 episodes and bring the Vader Obi-Wan conclusion to a strong finish and really just kick this thing into high gear. But I'm definitely enjoying the hell out of the series overall, and I really, really want to hear what you guys think about Obi-Wan Kenobi overall as a series, but primarily these last 2 episodes, episodes 3 and 4, of course. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. If you've been listening on the podcast feed, hit us up on the social medias, guys, and you can let us know what you think about all this great dope topics over there, guys. We'd love to get into a discussion with y'all, and we're trying to build up that fandom community of like-minded, positive geeks, guys. And whether we disagree or agree, it's always about having fun and having a cool discussion and having a blast and just celebrating what we love, and that is the world of fandom itself. And I want to just say thank you for tuning in to all these previous episodes of the Fandom Frequency Show, to those that have before, to all the returning viewers, and to all my new viewers. Make sure you guys stick around. We got so much great content coming at you guys real soon. We got a couple album reviews coming for Kendrick Lamar's latest album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Been a bit busy. Wanted to give the album a few more listens, but we're going to get you guys a full-on review for that. And Logic's album's coming out next. His new album's coming out next week. Vinyl Days, which apparently is going to have 30 fucking tracks on it, and that's pretty insane in and of itself, so I don't know how that's going to turn out per se, but I like most of the singles that he's dropped for it so far, so it seems like it's going to be a dope album. We'll see what's up, but I am a big Logic fan as well, so we're definitely going to cover that, and I'm probably going to do a ranking for both Kendrick Lamar's albums and Logic's albums as well, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that, and we're not going to put a break on our Stranger Things coverage. We got recaps/revisits coming for season 2, 3, and we're going to be talking about some season 4 predictions for the finale right before the finale drops, guys. So make sure you stay tuned for everything Stranger Things, in everything in the world and in between in the world of fandom, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this latest episode, and until we see you guys next time, stay tuned and don't sleep. Much love. Peace.